Welcome to Government Speak. This is where we'll cut through the government speak to get the information you need about county programs, services, and events straight from the source. Welcome to Government Speak, Contra Costa County's official podcast. I'm your host, Kristi Jourdan, Contra Costa County's Public Information Officer. And on this episode, we have County Librarian Alison McKee and Library Public Information Officer Brooke Converse in Studio 10 Douglas. Brooke, Alison, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So when folks think of libraries, they might picture the old trope of, spaces meant only for books, super quiet, shushing librarians, but we are way more than that here at Contra Costa County. Can you talk about the value that Contra Costa libraries add to the community?
Absolutely. And you are correct. We have an image problem, and it's not just Contra Costa County libraries, it's public libraries all over the nation. And we definitely have a lot of books, and books are our brand. We're not so quiet anymore. Usually I like to say that the loudest people in the library are the staff, but we also invite people to come in and connect with each other, elderly folks, teens, families with young children, so that they can create community and connections with one another. The value that we bring to the community is so much. I know I'm a little bit biased, but I really think it's true. To talk about the families and young children, early literacy is so key to the foundation of success in any child's life. And we really have a corner on that market. Every single one of our libraries has story time for babies, where parents can learn how to incorporate early literacy strategies and moments into their day. They can get connected with other parents. They can get connected with other resources that the library has to offer. We also offer a place for kids to come after school. Not everybody can afford an after-school program, and our libraries provide safe places for kids and a lot of curated activities put on by our expert teen services staff. We offer opportunities for senior citizens to connect with other adults in the community and also library staff. I hear from my staff quite often that when senior citizens come in the library, it's not unusual for them to hear, "Oh, you're the only person that I've seen today outside of my home." So those are just a smattering of our in-person offerings, and then all of our online offerings as well. Ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, streaming movies, job resources, job preparation, practice tests, just to name a few.
So you're really a hub for the community and a source of information for folks, just above and beyond entertainment. It's really kind of community connection. And so it doesn't happen alone. All of the services that you provide, you have a lot of community partnerships and partnerships with other county departments. Can you talk about some of those and how they benefit patrons and residents here in Contra Costa?
Yeah, absolutely. Partnerships are one of my favorite things to talk about, and particularly partnerships with other county departments, which I feel like is just starting to get off the ground. So because we're really the only community space that anybody can come into, they don't have to pay, they don't have to be a member. All they have to do is be able to get themselves in the door and, behave in a reasonable way. That means that the people who come into our libraries, some of those folks are people who don't have any place else to go. And those people who don't have any place else to go are often the people that other county departments are trying to connect with to get them connected to their services. So a partnership that I'm really proud and excited about is sort of a threefer. So it's the library, it's EHSD, and it's the Behavioral Health Department and Health Services. And they've created what are called wellness teams in 3 of our locations, Antioch, Concord, and San Pablo. And those wellness teams are a group of county staff who are dedicated to signing people up for benefits and county services that they might not be aware of, and also providing them mental health support.
So it's really, I mean, the library is kind of a social safety net, a catch-all at times, depending on, the populations being served and then their needs when they're coming into the library.
Absolutely.
Along those lines, what are some of the stigmas that libraries face, whether it's here or nationwide, and then how do we deal with those here in Contra Costa County?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I started off by saying we have sort of a reputation problem, so that's definitely a stigma that the library is really a place that's really buttoned down, and you go in there and you don't say a peep, and you study. So that's just incorrect. It's about 50 years old. We have fantastic outreach teams, and Brooke does a fantastic job promoting our services in a variety of platforms and venues. I'd say the other problem with our image that we have are that we're just, a dusty place full of books. And we're doing a lot with our city partners and with Public Works in the county to really upgrade all our facilities. Some of our libraries are real showstoppers, and others need a lot of work. But regardless, any library you go into, I'm pretty sure anybody who goes into one of our libraries, it's going to feel really good. It's going to feel like a really uplifted, inviting, nice place to be.
Well, and you're getting the same level of service regardless of what location you go into. How many locations do we have countywide?
We have 26 locations,
26.
And we have a library inside of the juvenile hall facility, and we have an adult literacy program called Project Second Chance.
Can you talk more about Project Second Chance?
I'd love to. Yeah, Project Second Chance matches learners with tutors who help them learn the basic skills of reading and writing. So the learners fall into 2 categories. They're either adults who missed out on learning to read and write in elementary, middle school, and high school for a variety of reasons. Maybe they have a learning disability, maybe they couldn't go to school regularly. Or they're English language learners. And so they connect folks with volunteer tutors who meet with them twice a week for about an hour and a half. And they have a fantastic training for the tutors and a curriculum, a set curriculum that's been proven to be very successful.
So, Brooke, in your role, how do you take these kinds of programs and market them and either try to raise awareness about them or get participants to be involved?
We take advantage of every possible channel we can find, whether they be working with our other county departments and community organizations to help us get the word out. And then recently we've been, stretching our legs a little bit and trying out different ideas on the advertising front. So we've tried, television and streaming commercials. We do bus ads. We've done some digital billboards. But of course, the best people who spread the word are our staff. So them just being in the branches and getting the word out to the people who are in our branches. And then, we also use our patrons to help us get the word out. So we run a social media ambassador program, which is basically a volunteer who from home just helps amplify what the library is doing. So all they have to do is sign up by, name and email address, and once a month or maybe twice a month, we'll send them an email asking them to help us promote whatever we're looking at that month. So it might be that we're celebrating a Heritage Month, or we might have a special book program going on, or it could be one of our digital services, or we could be looking for volunteer tutors for Project Second Chance. So we just say, please share this on your own social media channels in your own words. Tell them why you love the library and why this program might be important. And then we hope that they help to spread the word.
Well, and it's such a great strategy, too, because what better way, I mean, the library can say it, right? How great we are and all this stuff. But when you have the people you serve carrying that message, it's so much more effective. And what social media platforms is the library on?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then we also have a YouTube channel, which is where we do post a lot of our video content, because we not only, promote things, but we create a lot of content for families and for adults to either learn about our different digital platforms, or we have video story times, or different kinds of things that families can watch, or that even adults can watch to learn about our resources.
Which really lives up to the board's theme of accessibility, making sure that we're meeting people where they are. Along those lines, and I don't mean to take it negative, but are people even reading anymore, Allison?
Yes.
So, I understand that there's a literacy crisis in the U.S. What does that mean, and how are we addressing it through the programs and services here in Contra Costa County?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. And I read a headline and a news report yesterday that says that California has really not made much progress to close the learning gap that was created during COVID. So we're still in it, and we were not doing great even before COVID in terms of literacy in California. There is a new law, AB 1825, that requires all public libraries to partner with their local school districts to ensure that every public school child has a library card by the time they're in third grade. Having a library card is fantastic, but what's even better is them using the library card. So we, everybody on Contra Costa County Library staff, were in high gear figuring out how we can really, first of all, get every kid signed up for a library card, and then work with those school districts for the teachers and the families to leverage that library card to get the kids reading, using our resources, be excited about reading. When I used to be the librarian at the Juvenile Hall Library, the kids who came in, almost to a kid, had never read a book before. By the time they left, I think it was like 90% of the kids said, I love reading now. So much can be mitigated by access, easy access to books that speak to those kids, that speak to their experiences, that are relevant to them. So in addition to getting cards into the hands of kids and working with the school districts, our collection development team is really doing a great job in figuring out how can we get more and different vendors so we have more diverse points of view in our collection and more languages in our collection and larger collections of non-English materials.
I mean, that's amazing. So the metric isn't just get folks to sign up for their library card. The success measurement is, are they actually using it? How many people do we have on the team at the library for those 26 locations?
Yeah, we have about 400 people who work for the library. About half of them are our library aides. They are temporary employees who may work anywhere from 5 to 19 hours a week, and they're the unsung heroes of our library. I tell them whenever I have a chance to meet with them, our library system would collapse without you. So don't ever think I'm just a library aide. And the other half of those employees are part-time or full-time salaried benefited staff. So they range from library clerks to librarians to managers, to our IT staff, to our budget and finance staff, to our marketing team. We've got a really robust group of folks working for the library.
So I've heard you talk about this before, that libraries can save people money. And you've referenced some of the examples, but can that's a huge, especially in this economy, it's a huge takeaway for folks to be able to save money and to do that with a resource that the county's providing. So how does the library save people money?
Oh, so many ways. First of all, you don't have to buy your books. You can check them out. Second, you don't need to pay for a subscription for downloadable audiobooks. You can get those at the library. New York Times, Washington Post, East Bay Times, you can get those for free at the library. We've got streaming movies. Again, maybe you can cancel your online subscription and check out what we've got at the library instead. Can you think of anything else, Brooke, that I'm missing?
Did you say the newspapers?
I said the newspapers,
Okay, so
yeah.
No paywalls. No paywalls. when you go.
No
And
paywalls.
We have some of the biggest papers, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post. You can also get the local ones, East Bay Times, San Francisco Chronicle, Sacramento Bee, all free, no paywalls.
Well, and that's huge too. I mean, again, that's just another example of accessibility, being able to get to these resources in a way that, you just sign up for that card and it suddenly opens a whole new world for you. One of the missions of the podcast is to humanize the efforts. There are people who are putting, together these programs and services and delivering on those. So let's talk about who is Alison McKee? How long have you worked at the county? What's your background and experience?
Yeah, I have worked for the county since 2002. I started as a part-time library assistant and sort of worked my way over, around, and up into this position. I became the county librarian in October of 2020. So, it's been pretty boring. Not a whole lot to
nothing going
do.
on.
Yeah. But this is my third career. Prior to working at the library, I was a gardener. I had my own little business, and I worked at Berkeley Horticultural Nursery. And then prior to that, I was a classical musician. I played the French horn and made my living doing that for about 10 years.
That is so cool. And then how much of kind of those previous Alison chapters do you bring into your current work? I mean, when you think about how to garden or, how to be a musician, the library can be a place for you to go and kind of learn more about that. But how do you take from your experience and apply it to present day?
Yeah, great question. I like to say third time's the charm. And also, this job is the most creative job I've ever had. To be a department head takes every, ounce of creative skill and vision, and so much more creative than being a classical musician.
Well, Brooke, what about you? Coming in marketing and communicating about the programs and services provided by the library, that's really unique. So, what is your background?
Well, like most public information officers, I'm a recovering journalist. So my first career was as a TV news producer. So I did that for several years, but then just decided that something with a little bit better schedule, and to be honest, that paid a little better was the goal. So switched over to the other side. But some of my previous positions were, I was the media director for the California State Fair. I actually worked for a cooking show as a producer for a little while. I worked for the Office of the President for the University of California when Janet Napolitano was the president, and then I've been with the county since 2015.
So all that creative storytelling, you're tapping into those news storytelling experiences. So
Yes.
That's great. If there's one takeaway from our discussion today, what would you want people to remember the most?
We have something for you. Even if you think we don't, we do. If you're a community partner, if you're another county department, or if you're somebody who, hasn't been in a library for 20 years or since you were a little kid, come check us out. We definitely have something for you. There are very few people we can't help.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much to you both for being here. That's it for our show. I'm Kristi Jourdan, Contra Costa County's Public Information Officer. Thanks for joining us in the Government Speak podcast, brought to you by the Office of Communications and Media. But don't just take our word for it. Stay curious, stay connected, and stay informed. Until next time, keep your mind open and your facts straight.